Hello guys, welcome back. So, long story short, Loki made sure the first video I saw was Hard Candy Christmas, and we're probably going to watch that and a couple other sad videos, but we're not going to overdo it. You guys know Hermes and I can't get along, and we proved it again this time. We didn't have a big fight or anything else. It's just there's a lot of history between us that, he's never been really mean or cruel. I would not speak ill of him, but sometimes it feels like, at least with me, he left me to figure out stuff on my own when he should have said something. It was vitally important for him as the god to say something, and he didn't. And he did that again this time too, and I got burned again this time, and I was like, well, I'll be damned. Play with fire and you get burned. How about that? It's basic physics. I figured out something. And, we just can't get along. We can't get along, and he did want to, spend time together, and we went to the park, and we went horse racing and everything. We can't get along. There's not enough trust there, and I resented, I know he did it from a loving way, but he wanted trust, and so he let me go ahead and get burned again. And where Loki would expect the first time he touched the stove and got burned, Loki would be like, nothing teaches like experience. But the second time you reached for the stove, he'd be like, what the hell happened to you last time? Hermes won't do that, at least with me. Hermes doesn't have that stopgap of, you shouldn't be doing this. In fact, Hermes will walk you towards the thing where you got burned and let you go at it again and see if you've learned anything, and you haven't. So, we're not going to be working together. And, I don't want to speak ill of him. I think he's a wonderful god for people that are suited to him. But, it puzzled me out, and I ended up talking to all the other gods, and I talked to Asmodeus about it, and, Asmodeus said, every god is going to do things differently, and he was more concerned with making sure that whatever I was exposed to that burned me again didn't damage my relationships with all my gods. But he says, the effort a person puts into the relationship is how much they want the relationship. And he said, of course you don't have a relationship, my dear. And he was being kind. He says, one week every couple months or twice a year isn't enough for a relationship. Now, if it was like people you saw every summer, that's different, right? But with a god, a deity can't expect to come into your life whenever they feel like it, for say a week at a time, and then wonder why you don't have years of relationship because they've been coming around for years. So we aren't compatible. So Loki and I are going to listen to some sad songs until we feel better. And, it was just a thing where, if a guy cares about you, they will make sure you stop playing with fire. They will make sure you stop going towards something that's harmful for you. And I guess the good lesson was I learned to work through a lot of why I keep getting burned with certain things. So that was good, but it also cost the relationship with Hermes, because it wasn't that he didn't care, it was that he wanted me to give him something I couldn't. He wanted me to have absolute trust and absolute faith. I'm like, man, you put on a good floor show of like random events and all this other stuff, like phone calls and all this other crazy stuff, and I love you for that. I do. But when it comes to actually helping me in my life or making me feel secure in the relationship, you're just not doing that. I am sorry, but this is a no-go. And I got that from Odin and Loki, because they're the ones that were like, you have to start stepping forward in your relationships, and if it's not working, say so. And they're like, this is why you always end up sad. Do you want to know why you end up sad? Because you let yourself keep coasting along in these miserable relationships with certain gods. So, I said, no, we can't work together. We're too incompatible. And just because a god wants a relationship doesn't necessarily mean they're a good god for you. And this is not a thing Hermes could fix. I don't know if I said this recording, with a ton of gifts. I don't care if he got Chick-fil-A, actual Chick-fil-A, and roses in a crystal vase to me tomorrow to show how terribly sorry he is, or if I got 80 pins, or I got 20 songs to show how terribly sorry he is. Nothing's going to fix this. It's just, there is not enough relationship there to fix. And if he keeps letting me go to a place where I got burned, even Odin isn't that cruel. Odin will eventually point out, I don't know why you keep doing that, because then you get upset and you bitch at me. So, as Odin can I be brass tacks, and then Odin will have a spirited argument with you. Odin never liked Hermes, but Odin hasn't been here anymore either, so it wasn't like Odin was behind the scenes pushing buttons. It didn't need to be Odin. And it felt like the Greek gods really weren't serious about coming back in either. If gods can get something for themselves, great. I'm not saying gods are mean, it's just they're just like us. If we can give free stuff, sure we will. So the Greek temples, I guess, will be taken over by somebody. Aesir is just going to have a lot more stuff to look at, and I can sort out his temple. I wonder why it seemed like he was telling me today, and I think he knew. I think he knew. He's very good at reading people. A lot of people are terrified of him, and I actually find him very loving and very kind and a very good host, and he can read people very well, being a host and being a brewmaster. It's kind of like, don't take this as being simplistic about, but it's kind of like he's a bartender. He can read people, and he could read the relationship wasn't going to work out. I think that's kind of why he was willing to be the host, because then I can just go back there and I can have fun, and I can take down any Greek stuff, and just have fun and keep the relationships that are working for me. I think I'm going to keep more and more cycling faster and faster and defaulting back to Norse, because it doesn't seem like any other group is really serious about putting in the work. And even though the Norse gods make my hair fall out and turn gray and curl and everything else, at least they love me and they're here to do it. They're here consistently to drive me crazy. So I don't know. In 5 minutes from now, I'll be sure that God is giving me a sign that I have to work with Hermes. But um I probably need to reevaluate stuff, and I just know Hermes isn't for me, and the Greek gods I don't think are for me. It's just, it seems like we never get on well for long, so we might play a little sad music, we might play happy music, who knows? But I just wanted to let you guys know, and you hear my computer talking to itself, so I think the gods are telling me to hush up. So if you like what you see, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.